dreams, colors come alive. Chameleons changing the two are alike. Inspired to learn about the world outside. Here I go, on a journey wild and wide. Microscopes zoom in a whole new sight. Madagascar beckons, it's a magical flight. Exploring the wonders with eyes open wide. I'm on a quest with knowledge as my guide. Woodworking hands shaping dreams anew, creating beauty from the depths of truth. Building bridges, connecting old and new. Crafting tales that will touch hearts through.
Well, good morning, Chameleon. Actually, it's afternoon here. It's afternoon everywhere. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's about time that we had a little bit of chameleon community unity going on here. And say hello to everybody. And Tia's here. So we have Finland representing. Excellent. And Marsh Ann, hello, Robert's channel, Nate, Colin. Oh, lots of people. Hey, Colin, we got to see your multituberculata. And everybody, I am working on a remix of those intro songs, and I've gotten all the pictures that you've sent me to go into the next one. I have all those situated, ready to go. Just have to, I'm only halfway done though. So, okay, we're working on it. We're working on it. Got a lot going on. So, everybody, before I get into the main stuff that I have to share with you, let me know what's going on in your life. Any good, fun chameleon stuff going on? Oh, wow. Anina, hello. Very good to see you here. Oh my God, that's our other. Wait, you're our other Finland. Did I remember that right? I believe I remember that right. Oh no, you know what? I got so many names, but please, let me know if I remembered right. Okay. Brevicorn egg check time. All right. I hope you guys don't get tired of this, because they are still looking good, but they're not doing a whole lot. So, but they're hanging out. Got my little temperature probe because I have one of those temperature loggers, and it broke. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yes, the guard frog is still there, making sure that no shenanigans go on. And but yeah, they are looking good. And you're saying, Bill, how do you know they're looking good? Well, if they are all molded over, that's when they're looking bad. And if you start seeing worms crawling in and out of them, yeah, that's telling you something. Telling you things aren't going so well. But I did get my this is what you see. I'm starting the rack right here. This is going to be the cage rack. Each baby is getting their own cage here. And I just got my backdrop, my first backdrop, my test backdrop that I'm going to be putting into this cage right here. So it can have just an awesome background. And I'm serious. I mean, people generally don't invest a whole lot into their baby caging, unless you're a serious breeder. Then yes, they invest into their baby cage breeding. But I want to start a trend, if that's what you want to call it, of treating the baby raising time as potentially the most special time of raising up a chameleon. And so you're going to be seeing me do that. All right, James is going off to a birthday. Why everybody reads my name as Colin. Yeah, I guess we just leave out everything in between. And interesting. Oh, yes, Double Trouble Finland. Oh, good, good. And Nina, very good to see you back again. Bill, I just ordered several sizes of clear landscaper pots, zip ties, and also that special timer plug you did a video on. Yes. Oh, yes. Excellent. You're going to have fun with that. Holy cow, it's hot out there, Bill. Yes, it is. I don't know if you're talking about hot out where you are or hot out where I am. Yeah, it's getting into the upper 90s around where I am. And that right after this show, everybody who is outside is getting a complete soaking, and I'm bringing them in. Probably bring them in for a couple of days because here in Southern California, things are inching towards 100 degrees, and we're not going to keep chameleons outside. What, can I go bioactive for baby chameleons? Yes. In fact, that's we are experimenting with that. It appears it really does well for baby chameleons, and that makes sense. Not a big surprise because they're more sensitive to the external humidity, and baby chameleons naturally stay closer down to the ground. It's I suppose it's safer there. But yes, definitely bioactive baby chameleons. Bioactive is probably the most I won't say it's the most appropriate because we're not that far, but we have had incredible success keeping raising babies up in a bioactive situation. And you know, it doesn't hurt that in a bioactive situation, you've got little bugs all over the place. You know, that's what chameleons live off of when they're small. What brand hygrometer do you use or recommend? I use a data logger called Sensor. And so it logs the humidity and temperature over a 24-hour period until it breaks. And I get it on my smartphone. And so that's what I use. But I'm not much of a person that is keeping track of the humidity. It's good to know the general range, but in my cages, I have areas that are high humidity and have fog going in it, and areas that don't. And I let the chameleon figure out which one it wants. In fact, the one behind me has fog going right now. And there's a reason for that. And we need to get to that. I've got a lot. We got a lot to go through today. How many parsons do you have? I have, and what Nate's talking about is I have some yellow giant Parsons chameleons that are available if somebody is interested in wants to get started with Parsons Chameleons, I have 2 pairs of Parsons Chameleons and a single male. So if you would like to work with Parsons Chameleons, let me know. As long as you have the space and everything, and let me know, and I can get you started. They are wild caught, although I am continually working with them and knocking down parasites, so they are slightly domesticated. But I would love to find new homes for them. My passion here is to work with the Shamrock Chameleons, and the longer I have these Parsons Chameleons, the closer I get to having Parsons Chameleons eggs. And if you, as wonderful as it is to breed Parsons and have Parsons Chameleon eggs, they are an incredible distraction. My focus needs to be on the Shamrocks, and if I have Parsons Chameleons eggs, I will love it. But it's going to be a huge distraction. Can you imagine? I mean, you leave me with these 2 pairs, and if these 2 pairs mate and give me eggs, now I have 2 clutches of Parsons Chameleons. That's going to take up every bit of space I have. So please save me from breeding Parsons Chameleons. I love Parsons. It would be an absolute joy to raise up Parsons. It would be an incredible accomplishment. Kaluma are not easy, and so even I recognize this would be an incredible accomplishment. But this is the problem with chameleons. There's so many great things to do in the chameleon world. It's so easy to get distracted, and it is taking every ounce of my self-control to focus in on one species. So you can watch me squirming and trying so hard to do it week after week. Oh boy. Mm. Hello, David. Dylan says, where do you sell your chameleons? Email me. I don't sell them on Morph Market. I'm not a serious seller of chameleons. I take in some chameleons. I work with an importer, and I take groups of chameleons, and I do study with them with their parasites, and I deparasitize. I work with different medicines to acclimate them, and then they need to go to another home. So that's the situation here. I do it personally. So if you are interested, email me. Let me put that up. Email me at this. At that email address, and say you're interested in Parsons. I'll send you pictures and we can talk about it. I would love, definitely. I mean, that's part of the agreement that I have with the importer. I hold them for a certain length of time. I can work on studying their parasites and gathering that data, medicating them. And the agreement is that I then find buyers, new homes for them. And so it's a very unique, wonderful agreement. And so I need to do my part and sell them. So if you're interested, please give me an email, drop me an email, and we will talk. Hey, Bill, my sweet baby girl just had her first clutch. 40. Is this a veiled chameleon? Her killer hadn't quite come back yet. What can I do to help her recover? And when a chameleon has babies, you want to, I say I send mine to the spa. They are in their cage. They get as much food as they want. I overwater. When I say overwater, I don't mean deluge. I mean, make sure that they're very hydrated, and privacy. Give them so they're not seeing any other chameleon. So there's no males trying to say, hey, baby, that kind of thing. You don't have cats, dogs running around. Just give them a vacation. And they should recover after a week, or after about 2 weeks. They should be right back, ready to go. So that's what I do, and it works quite well. If you get Parsons eggs, it'll be a long time to check on those things. Yes. Yes, yes. If I get Parsons eggs and I start showing you guys Parsons eggs, we're gonna be here for a couple of years. Oh, Anina says we have cleaning day tomorrow, washing everything. Humidity is very high during the day, 70% all day. Wow, wow, nice. There's a smaller type of Parsons, like a smaller type? Yes, there is. The Parsons Parsons is a species that has two subspecies. There's Caluma parsonii and Caluma parsonii Christopher. And Christopher is a smaller one. It's about the they're a little bit bigger, I'd say, than the largest panther. So they're still a nice sized chameleon, but they're very manageable. And although the ones that I have are the yellow giant. These are not small at all. These are massive. So I have only massive Parsons to share. The good thing Bill sells Bill does not sell his Parsons for free. He needs to send money back to that importer for the so yes, I have agreed to how much I need to send back. But please help me out if you want to. But really, if you've wanted to work with the Parsons chameleon, this is a good opportunity. These are long-term captives. You still have to treat them like a wild caught. Okay, still do the quarantine. Treat them like wild caught because they are. But they've been around for a bit. How many species of chameleons do you sell? Dylan, I really don't sell chameleons reliably. Right now, I have the group of Parsons, and I have one ambilobe panther chameleon that I am fattening up now. He's had 3 negative fecals. Good guy. He's a trooper. He's got through it. But now he's a young panther, and now I'm fattening him up. His name's Hugo, and he comes on the show every now and then. But, is it just Parsons, or are there other chameleons that you help find homes? Okay, well, this is kind of an interesting. I'll explain. I do make requests from this exporter, J. Dubé, of One World Exotica, who's been very kind and supportive of my work. And I actually give him requests based on parasites. And so I don't know what species I'm going to get. Like the last one, I said, I'd like to get some chameleons that have subcutaneous nematodes. And so I ended up with some panther chameleons. And so I don't know what I'm going to get. And I'm going to be trying to find some chameleons that might be around some snails, so I can try to work with some trematodes. These are flukes, so a certain parasite. So I have a unique situation here that I order parasites, and then we see what happens. So, hey, Yvette's here. Excellent. So, I will have various chameleon species throughout the year, but it's not going to be consistent. I'm really not. I don't want to get into being a chameleon seller. I have specific purposes for the chameleons that I bring into my facility, we'll call it, and it's educational. Both, parasite, also with husbandry. And so there are some things that I want to do. I want to build up educational, like with the Parsons. I wanted to build up the pictures and the ability so I could put together a care guide. And so I bring in species for a specific purpose, and then move them on. There'd be no way that I could keep everything that I want to work with to build out this educational material, because there's just too much. And some of this educational material requires quantity. Like if I'm starting putting together a map of what kind of parasites come in, with what species of chameleons. Now, obviously, I need to be testing a wide range of chameleons, and I don't want to keep that many chameleons. I mean, I'd love to keep that many chameleons and fill my life with chameleons all over the place, but it's not realistic, and I can't give good care to that many chameleons. So this works very well for the kind of research that I'm doing, to where I take possession of them. I do parasitic analysis on them. I use medicines. I deparasitize them, and then I find homes for them, and it works. It works for everybody, as long as everybody's getting a benefit out of it. Jay gets the benefit of, I am selling for him, and I am housing these, and I get a benefit because I'm learning and I'm gathering research material. And the person who buys from me gets the benefit of, these are long, have been in captivity for a long term. I'm not selling them as parasite free, because that's just not a realistic thing to do anywhere, actually. But I can tell you, this is how many negative fecals they've gotten. Now, some of these parsons are still working through their deparasitization, and I'll let you know that. I'll say, okay, continue the quarantine when you take these over. And so it's kind of a where all three are benefiting. That's the situation. So, what is the next type of chameleon you see getting broken into subspecies, if any? Think about how Brevicorn and Jackson and I have been split into subspecies. The Brevicorn, and I believe people are working with the Brevicorn group. And so Jacksonii still needs to be broken up. The Nasutum complex, I think that's the complex. The little Kalumas, the mini Kalumas, those I just have so much work that need to be done. Yeah. Well, hey, Yvette, hi for the gym. Jesus is asking, can chameleons become accustomed to its owner? Yes, absolutely. In fact, that's expected. Your chameleon, every chameleon is going to have a different range of connection with their owner. And we have to be careful what we mean by connection. It's more of a familiarity, a trust. It's not to where your chameleon will miss you if you're gone for a week. You won't just say, oh, where's my owner? But it will get to the point where when you come into the room, your chameleon goes, oh, that's the guy who brings me good food. I'm excited. And when a stranger comes in the room, he says, okay, I don't know who this person is. I'm going to hide. So chameleons definitely recognize people. They will attach trust and good things with people who bring good things. And so they definitely will. How do you guys clean your fogger tubes? I use a light detergent or vinegar, and then I'd really rinse it out. So it's a real simple thing on my side. Wondering, what kind of size cage would you even need for a Parsons male? Well, for the yellow giants, you would need at least 4 by 2 by 4, and I would go larger than that. The thing about Parsons chameleons is they're really an experience. They're just not good for collecting unless you have a lot of space. And so if you're looking at going into a Parsons chameleon, consider it an experience that you will invest in. My favorite way of keeping Parsons chameleons is in a walk-in enclosure. I would make these 8 feet wide, 4 feet deep, and 6 to 7 feet tall, and keep it outside when they could be outside. And so these were heavily planted with a sprinkler system, and they would only come into their 4 by 2 by 4 foot when it was too hot for them to be out there. And so, but it's more of, how can you best enjoy having a Parsons chameleon? And that is with a large enclosure. Yeah. Do people often ship small babies, or is that unheard of? Rocco, that's controversial. People often do, and they shouldn't. Um, Small babies can go be shipped. The problem really comes into is the person on the other side ready for it? We get this problem a lot with Jackson's Chameleons because these facilities they get in Jackson's Chameleons and they have babies and the facility's not ready for it, so they want to ship these things out as soon as possible. And so it's very common on the Jackson's Chameleon community on Facebook to have people saying, "Okay, I just got my chameleon." They show this little thing sitting on their fingertip. That is not good. It's not good to have somebody who is not prepared for a chameleon. The truth of the matter is, when you can ship eggs, you can ship baby chameleons, and they will arrive on the other side just fine. The problem comes, is the person on the other side ready? Is the person on the other side ready for a hatchling if you ship them an egg? Are they ready for a hatchling if you ship them a hatchling? When you ship chameleons too young, because when a chameleon hatches, it is at its most sensitive. And it takes about 3 months for it to really stabilize. And during those 3 months, this baby could get sick, could be weak, it could die. And that's why we have a breeding community, because the breeders take on that risk. They have expertise hatching to 3 months. 3 months isn't arbitrary. It's how big the chameleon is. But 3 months was a standard, but it doesn't have to be 3 months. It's a size, how long until it gets to that size. And so the breeders have take on that risk, and they get the chameleon to the point where it is well started and ready to go. And at this point, you as a beginner can have no problem raising it up. Very easy. So the real problem is getting a chameleon to somebody who is not ready to take on that risk and be able to mitigate it and have the expertise to work through it. Sure, a number of people do. They get a baby, they get an egg, they hatch it, they have a great time, and they go tell everybody this is the greatest thing ever. Some people do, a lot of people don't. And so those of us in the community, we have to say, all right, this overall, this doesn't work so well. It's better to go do what we're doing with the breeders and send out well-started individuals. That's a long way to answer that question. Joanne, thank you very much for the super sticker. Appreciate the support. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your experiences with your chameleons. All right, everybody. We actually have a celebration today, but I'm going to go ahead and give you an experience of doing a fecal exam. I do a lot of deparasitization here. And so I thought today, because I am putting together one of these short videos as to have the experience of going through a fecal check. And so I am going to play the raw footage for you right now so you can see everything that goes into doing a parasite check. And so this is Spearmint. Many of you know Spearmint. He is a dude. So this is our guy here. And since you're getting raw footage, you see exactly what it takes to get chameleons to eat. They like to get distracted, and everything's got to be just right. It's just like a dog who got to figure out where he's gonna take a dump. It's like, oh, okay, do the circles. No, not here. I'll do it somewhere else. And so finally, the guy takes his dubia. Now, the wonderful thing is that once he gets that dubia going through, he's going to it's going to go through his system. And what do we get? Hey, we get a fecal sample. And so I'm going to be taking that to the microscope, and we're going to take a look at what is there. And how do I do this? I collect the fecal using one of these fecal collection tubes. This is an official thing that veterinarians use, and it's available to us. And so I take that, and I'm not going to show you me getting the sample, but let's just say I get the sample and I put it in. So, Alicia can't watch any longer. Okay, I'll explain what's going on. And then, so this is the preparation for the slide. Now, I'm preparing a direct fecal smear here. And what I do is I take some of the fecal material, I put it on a slide, and I put saline solution on it. A lot of times what comes out, you just want a little bit of impression and moisture from the fecal sample. But when you have a dry sample, you have to somehow reconstitute it. So what I do is I put some of the saline solution on it. I create a bit of a muddy mess on the slide. And then I just scoop up all of the big things. And the reason why you want to get rid of all the chunks is because you're going to be putting on a cover slip on that, and you want it to be as flat as possible. When you have these chunks, it makes it really hard to see what's going on because you have a lot of space. When you're looking in the microscope, the thickness of what's under the slide makes a big difference. And so, yeah, okay, that was cool. And so what I do is I make a little bit of a mash, then I get rid of everything. And you don't need a lot on the slide. We're talking about microscopic stuff that's all over the place. And so I add another drop of saline to get things swimming. The main thing that I'm looking for in the direct fecal smear is flagellated protozoa. And that's things that, I can see every parasite in the direct fecal smear, but it's only on this one that I will be able to see the flagellated protozoa moving around. But I am going to be, this is showing me preparing for the fecal float. That's a second test. And this requires 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes of waiting time. And so I prepare it before I take a look at the direct fecal smear. And that way it can sit and marinate, and all the eggs and ova oocysts can float to the surface and get on my slide. So as you see, I'm going to put a cover slip on top of that, and then I'm going to take a look at this direct fecal smear. We're going to see the spearmint here has been under medication for a while now. And sometimes it takes a long time to really root out everything. And so this is the kind of stuff we're going to be looking for. This is a pinworm ova, and it's actually got a double larva in there. And so when I see this is what I see at the higher magnifications. Like you can see these when you're doing 100 times, 200 times magnification. And but when I go and increase magnification, this here is an Emeria coccidia. And these guys, you need to, I generally like to be at 400 times magnification to see these. So there's that. And here's another, what I believe to be Coleomeria. And this is nice because you can see all those little things. There is the flow of moisture there, of liquid there, but also these things that are flitting around. Those are the flagellated protozoa. And that's what I'm looking for as well. And of course, in the middle, this is the Coleomeria coccidia. Now, if you look kind of to the left of that coccidia and down, there's this round thing, and that is an amoeba. Now, whether that amoeba is entamoeba, whether that is dangerous, entamoeba invadens, or it's commensal, meaning it just hangs out and does nothing, entamoeba E. coli or entamoeba coli, it's really hard to tell the difference. And so that's one of the challenges of doing what we're doing here. So now I suppose we can take a look. Oops, that's the wrong video. So what's very interesting is I found nothing. All of those things were of things that I have found before, but Spearmint now has his first negative fecal. And this is what we work towards for weeks, months in a chameleon, because parasites are just so good at hiding into these little areas. So it's really an accomplishment to get to a negative fecal. And but of course, I need 2 more before we arbitrarily decided at 3 negative fecals that they're through with their parasites. So we'll go with it. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Spearmint again. And this is him snagging his superworm. I found interesting these shamrock chameleons. They like dubias. They really do. They'll choose dubia over superworm. My last one chose a dubia over a housefly. What the heck? See, I got my 4-month-old on eating dubias and crickets. Excellent, but he won't pick back soldier flies. How can I motivate him or get him to eat some black soldier fly larvae? He also doesn't eat small mealworms. Chameleons sometimes have their preferences, and you can't change it. Now, usually, like black soldier fly larvae, they need to be moving, and if they're not moving, that's a problem. Chameleons also don't like things that they don't trust, that they don't recognize, and there may be something in his chameleon brain that says, I don't recognize this, I don't know if I can trust it. And every chameleon is different. Anybody who has multiple chameleons will tell you that some of their chameleons will eat one thing and others won't eat other. Dubias, a lot of people have trouble getting their chameleons to eat dubia. Well, not mine. But I have had chameleons that didn't like dubia that much. So it's a personal thing. And how can you motivate him? There are ways of getting him. You can skip a couple of meals and then only give him black soldier fly larvae, and then he'll learn to eat it. So you just decide how important it is to you. But there are ways of encouraging them. So. Well, something I can introduce you to is the cage behind me. That is a dragon strand tall screen cage. Let's see. And maybe I can introduce you to the little guy that's in there, if I can find him. Let's see. So if you just hang tight, let's see if I can find him. All right. I see his tail. Let's see. You can. No. Go this way. Go this way. Go this way. You can be with me as I try to get this guy out. Come on, dude. He is a young one. And I've decided he's going to be in my personal study because and he is he's not coming easily. Of course, I'm being as gentle as possible, but when you have a heavily planted cage, he's able to find ways to make things difficult. So let's see. It may be difficult for us to see him because of the camera, but I wanted to show you him anyways. Let's see how we can do this. There we go. I'm going to do this so it's easier to focus on him so you won't see me. But this is a juvenile male Kaluma O'Shaughnessy, the shamrock chameleon. He has got a lot of growing to do, but he'll be doing that in the cage behind me. And you can see how, like his big cousin, the Parsons chameleon. Okay, let's make sure. There we go. Trying to get the focus. He has the rostral processes, the dual blade, and he's not showing off his brightest greens, but he gets this incredible emerald green throughout his entire body, and the turquoise in the gular this is one of the most gorgeous chameleons. When people ask me what my favorite chameleon is, I think I finally can say for sure it's Kaluma O'Shaughnessy. Look at the tail on this guy. He's amazing. So anyway, he is going to grow up in that cage behind me. And he's looking awesome. This is the guy, if you went on Instagram or on YouTube and look at the shorts, this is the guy that chose to get a dubia instead of a housefly that I put into his cage, which really surprised me. How many chameleons that really would choose anything over a housefly? Well, this guy did. So that was fun. There we go. All right. So, yikes. Sorry about that. Okay. Unfortunately, I have this in close quarters just so I could get everything in the camera. So. Of course, says, bam, he looks like, yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. So, as you can see, I've been doing a lot with the shamrock chameleon. And my goal, I want to be able to get these captive hatched shamrocks into the community. They're still exported from Madagascar, but they're just not well known. Very, very rare. So I'd like to change that. In fact, I mean, this is really, they are my vehicle for exploring the small batch breeding process. And if you guys have been hearing the podcast I've been doing earlier this year, you know what I'm talking about. It's a big project, long-term project to popularize or even bring exposure to the idea that we treat babies as if they are the project. So raising babies I call it in luxury, with enrichment in their own cages, just like I'm going to be doing back there. And so I'm just going to be me and my merry band of Illuminati. We're going to be demonstrating what this can look like, and the community can do with it what they please. So, woo. And once again, I want to bring up this pinworm. This is a chameleon pinworm. I love chameleon pinworms. They have such nice shapes. The bearded dragon pinworms just look vulgar. Actually, I should show you a picture. All right, I'm gonna see if I can find a, video of a bearded dragon pinworm so you can know what I'm talking about. Let's see. I should. It'll be here soon because I had to go and check bearded dragons to try to find a certain type of coccidia. And yes, I do look for certain types of coccidia. That's what I do. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. There we go. Is that it? I believe that's it. No. Come on. You can do it. Oops. I got to remove some stuff here. Let me try that again. Give me a second here. And I'll get that. So, yeah, so that's, oh, wait, that's the wrong one. I'm doing this on the fly here. Just give me a second here. Yeah, I know this is bad showmanship, but I had my docket filled with stuff. There we go. That's just not got those nice curves, those nice shapes to it. It's kind of just it's like a Neanderthal. So yes, I am a pinworm snob. Are there any captive bred shamrocks out there now that people are hatching, or everyone waiting on your pairs to start? There aren't. Well, I think in Japan there were some, and so it's not unheard of. It's some here, some there, but there really isn't that much awareness for the species, and so the people that do it sometimes, the babies just dissipate out without a whole lot of cohesion, without a whole lot of community involved. And so when there are captive hatched, it really doesn't amount to much. And so the good news is that people have done it. It's not impossible to do. It should be. They're Kalumas, and so it takes a little bit. It's a little bit of a challenge, but it's not impossible. People have been doing it. So this project of mine should work fine. Be a little bit challenging, but it should be possible. And as for everybody waiting for your pairs to hatch, yeah, if you want to wait, if not, they come in as wild caught occasionally, usually at least once or twice a year, and so anybody can get a hold and work with the shamrocks of their own. So it's not like I am holding all of them that exist, but if I do have a number of people who are interested in working on the small batch breeding thing, and they just want to be part of it, and so yeah, they're waiting. And as soon as I have them available, these people are going to have like six luxury baby mansions for 6 babies, and we'll see. I like the idea of having, I'll call them professional baby raisers. And parasites are worth the wait. Yeah, it takes so much to deparasitize the chameleons, so that's a lot of work. I would encourage, if everybody wants to be part of this program and you have some patience, okay, so it's a 2 years. It's a long-term thing, but I've been doing this live session here for over 2.5, close to 3 years. And so if you've been with me, then you've you've grown with me through all of this, and in another 2 years, well, we'll still be here talking about it, and I'll be showing you baby O'Shaughnessy eye. So, but I would agree. Me personally, I would love it if I could start with captive hatched shamrocks. That would be wonderful. But my purpose here in the world is to create those, and I accept my destiny. Oh, Bill, you are so spoiled, but snob fits better on the pinworm. Oh, all bad. Yes, all the pinworms, they're all bad, but I can have my preferences. I can have my preferences. So, all right, Justin's back. Excellent. Hello, Justin. Welcome back. So, all right, share with me what kind of things you all have going on this coming week. I'm going to be working on, I have a number of video projects that I've got to work on and get those out. And I've just done some major upgrades on the tall screen cage. And so I'm going to be letting the world know about those and do a little bit of marketing. Oh. Bill, have you ever owned jeweled chameleons? Justin is talking about Furciver Campani. And yes, I have. I have owned jeweled the Furciver Campani. They are wonderful little chameleons. And so if you have any questions, you can let me know. But I have, and they were a joy. So anyway, what I'm doing with the shamrocks is I have a couple of adult pairs, and I have a couple of young ones. And the idea is that I breed the initial pairs, and I raise these guys up, and they can mate with the babies, and that I would like to. The more people would say, but why don't you mate the baby? Say if I have two bloodlines, how about mating those? And the reason why I don't want to do that is because when I do that, I dilute the blood. I don't dilute. I reduce the number of bloodlines, unrelated bloodlines that exist. And so I am going to be bringing in the wild caught males to mate with the captive hatched females as much as possible. And so I can keep those captive lines separate. And I'm actually going to be keeping the bloodlines through the female instead of the male, which is a lot of people do, but like in panther chameleons and such. Actually, panther chameleon should be through the female as well, because that's the one that you don't know what the wild caught one is. You're not sure. So these will be gone through the female, and I'll be bringing wild caught in, and I may do one pairing just to say I've done a true F2, but really I don't want to jump to that, because once you do that, then you lose the diversity, the bloodline diversity. And as long as they are coming in, I want to take advantage of that and continue to keep the bloodlines as separate as possible, because when they stop coming in, you have no choice. Now you have to start combining. And so I just want to put that off as long as is possible. So, are they easier than most chameleons to keep? Justin, they are different. They are hardy, but they're like Parsons chameleons. They like it. They're more of a deep forest, and so they like it cool. They don't like it when it starts to get hot, just like a Jackson's chameleon. And so cool and humid, moist. They like their moisture. So misters, foggers use them a lot. I don't have to use, in my environment, I don't have to use a basking bulb. They like it cool. And so they're a little bit different, but they're not harder. than any other chameleon. They're pretty hardy. So there's really no problem. If you are just your standard chameleon keeper, you're not going to have a challenge keeping this chameleon as long as you can keep. You can't give them panther chameleon husbandry because panther chameleons are more heliophilic. They like the sun more. And so as long as you have those kind of, those parameters, everybody should be fine. And of course, that's part of what I'm doing here. I'm going to be spending, once I get eggs, I'm going to be spending 1.5 years creating all of the husbandry material for people. And so when people get involved with the shamrock chameleon, they know everything they need to know. My success is not reproducing them. My success is when the people who get my babies reproduce them. That is my success. And so I have a strong sense of being involved and helping anybody who gets these babies from me, that they will be successful as well. That is how I measure success. And so I will be producing material that will help people be successful. So, all right, folks, it is, we're coming to the end. Let's see, what does next week look like? We've got a DIY Chameleon guy. Well, I will be live on Tuesday evening on Instagram and here on YouTube at 5 p.m. Pacific. Wednesday morning at 5 a.m., we have an episode of the DIY Chameleon guys. We're going to be finishing up that multi-cage fogger. And that is all that I have to announce at this time. We will have Dragon Strand. We'll have these tall screen cage systems available on Monday. We'll have them in stock. And the nice thing about these cages is they come with the features you need. They come with the dragon ledges that allow you to mount plants and branches up here, come with a drainage tray. So everything all the water that comes in goes into the drain. The back is solid. And so when you mist, it's not going to go through the cage and hit the walls of your house. It comes with hydration mounts so you can put in your mist kings, and it has a fogger input for your standard fogging tube. So the whole purpose behind these is that they are a full featured cage out of the box, and you don't take it out of the box and all of a sudden have to figure out how am I going to attach a fogger hose. So these are going to be available at dragonstrand.com. And I mentioned that because that's what this is what makes this outreach possible, is when people purchase those cages. That's how I can do what I'm doing here. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. Are jeweled chameleons easy? Okay, Justin, keep asking if things are easy. They are all chameleons. Very few of the chameleons available to us have any sort of difficulty to them, but they do have different parameters. So as long as you're giving them those different parameters, they're going to be fine. The biggest challenge in some of these chameleons, like Jackson's chameleons, is they need a nighttime drop, so you need an air conditioner. The Parsons chameleons will probably need a cooler area. The Shamrock chameleons need a cooler area. The jeweled chameleons, the Campani, they would do very well with a nighttime drop. And so the most challenging thing about chameleons is giving them a cool area. And so that's, as long as you have an air conditioner and you have the ability to give humidity, you're really going to be able to handle just about any chameleon we have in captivity. And that's really the key. So fogging and misting gives you humidity, and combined with hybrid caging, even if you get a screen cage like this and you close in the sides and front, we have different ways of doing that. You've got the ability to give the hydration necessary for just any chameleon that we have available to us. And if you have an air conditioning and you have control of the room's temperature and you're able to give a nighttime drop, then you have the ability to do any of the chameleons we have available to us. And so it's just learning um, the combinations of those for the species. And so you're fine. There are some chameleons that will be difficult to keep, but those aren't in captivity right now. When you start talking about Carpenteri xenorinum from even Maramontanus, that's from a high altitude, mountain tops, and they require the deep nighttime drop. Then we start getting into the area where, okay, this is what I would consider challenging, because they require conditions that are so different from our room temperature conditions. But those aren't available easily. They occasionally are available, but very, very rarely, and only through a specialty arrangement. So I would say, if you are maybe here's a way to think about it. If we think about, maybe we can think about, is this species able to live in panther chameleon conditions? And I picked panther chameleon because they do very well in our room temperature with a heat lamp. And so, okay, panther chameleon. I would say you take away the heat lamp and you'd be okay with the Campani. Let's see, with the shamrock chameleons, they're going to need more humidity than the panther chameleon does, but the panther chameleon would love to have more humidity. They just can tolerate less humidity. So, you know what? I'm not going to be able to make there's so many little details of each species. I'm not going to be able to simplify it like that. Oh, well, it was a good try, but that's what I do. And this is what I'm constantly doing with the Chameleon Academy, is trying to figure out how can I simplify the explanation of this. And I run into a lot of dead ends. So this was another dead end, but you know what? Maybe I'm going to work on it, because this would be you see, the thing is, many people ask about whether a species is easy. And so if I can figure out a way to define easy in a way that would make it easy to place species on that chart, that would be a useful chart. So I'm going to think about this. And this is a constant challenge for me. And now I'm just pontificating here with the Chameleon Academy, is that chameleons are a complicated thing to explain. And a lot of what I do, a lot of my effort comes into, how do I simplify this so it's really easy to understand? And so if you go back and look at everything that I've done with the Chameleon Academy, the things that I'm most proud of are the ones that I've been able to simplify to the point where they're easy to understand. And so that's actually a serious goal of mine, is to do. And Justin, if you think they're so beautiful, looking forward to the jeweled as your next chameleon. They are, if you can find captive hatched, which occasionally they are available, Dr. Michael Nash was working with them, then it's a lot easier than if you get them wild caught. The wild caught, which will be probably easier to find when they come in, it's like carpet chameleons. When they come in, they've got parasites. They've lived through a lot of their life, and so it's a little bit rough to work with them. But if you get them captive hatched, they're like bulletproof. And so that's what I'll say. If you can at all get a captive hatched, and I know that's a tall order, that's a really tough to find them captive hatched. But just know that it's night and day difference. So if you end up getting a wild caught and you don't have a good experience, you could have a great experience. Sometimes they come in very healthy, and so it's not a given that that'll be a bad experience. But if it is a bad experience, don't let that sour you on the species. Just keep your eye open for when there is a captive hatched available and jump on that. So that'll be I'll add that little caveat there. So, all right, everybody. We'll leave on a positive note. Bill, you're honestly the reason I got confident enough to start with a chameleon because of the way you bring your knowledge across. So I'd like to thank you for that. Thank you very much for letting me know that, David. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you have enjoyed this outreach. So, all right, everybody, go have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next time. Bye.